Hello everyone. Hopefully everything's coming through nice and clear and everyone can hear me. How are we all doing tonight? Firstly, I want to apologise for the lack of live stream last weekend. I was not in a good state. I was very ill for about 5 days. So, yes, I'm sorry about that. But we're back and we're doing question time tonight. So if you have a question about anything games dev related or anything else related, right, or anything unrelated even, anything you want at all, we're an open book tonight and you can ask away in the chat. I've got a chat open in front of me as well as obviously Unreal Engine 4. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask away. Something different I'm going to do with this episode is I'm going to be putting in after the show is putting in all the questions that were asked into the description below. So if anyone's looking for an answer to a particular question later on, they can just go in the description, click on the link, and it'll take them to that time code. So if you're watching this, check out in the archive, check out the description below, and you'll find time code links to the answers to those questions. I am feeling better now, thank you, Abdudi65. Yeah, it was a horrible time. Lots of things going wrong. I thought I was okay, and then on the Saturday it really picked up, and I was off work for like 3 days, so I didn't go back to work until Thursday. Yeah, a nasty time. What's everyone been working on? Well, I'll tell you what I've been working on. I've been working on the second. Let's just delete some of this old stuff. The second premium series that will be coming out later this year. So the first premium series was making your first game. The second premium series will be, funny enough, making your second game, and we're making a whole new game from scratch. But as a good way to introduce a few more ideas to you. So I've been working on that and getting that sort of like solided up. So you look forward to that. That'll probably I want to say summerish time, maybe before summer. That series will be available to gold patrons in its entirety and on Skillshare as a premium series. Zimmy Jim, I'm using the FPS multiplayer template, and I created some wandering pedestrians using part of your AI tutorials. I'd like one team to spawn randomly as pedestrians. Is there an easy solution? Okay, so um, Zimmy Jim, multiplayer template creates wandering pedestrians using part of AI. I'd like one team to spawn randomly as the pedestrians. Okay, so you've got a multiplayer game and you want one team of players to be pedestrians, and the other team to not be. Okay, right. So simply put, you would identify the team that they would belong to. You can make an enum for this, or you could just do a boolean or an integer, whatever you want to do. However you want to record the team details of the players, totally up to you. Then when you are loading up your lobby for your game, I'm assuming this is a online multiplayer game. When you load up your lobby for your game, you will then assign every single player in the array. You'll add you'll sort them out into different teams, so giving them a different flag for each one. Again, being a boolean, enum, whatever it may be. And then with that enum, when you go to spawn them in, you'd do a different spawn of a mesh or actor. Sorry, so you'll have a parent actor, which would be the player class, and then you have two subclasses. One will be pedestrian, one will be the other team, whatever they may be. And you just tell them to spawn in that class based on their enum. Okay, that's roughly what you got to do. Okay, and hopefully I understood your question correctly. Okay. DJ Shiro. Hang on, let me get my other screen up so I can actually see what the hell I'm doing. That's not useful. Hang on. Best way of doing that. I'm trying to record the timeline of when people are asked questions and I answer them. But there's not an easy way to determine this. I think that this would have something. Hang on. Sorry, bear with me. Oh, what's that? God's sake, no. Okay, well, we'll just have to wing it a little bit here. So, Simi Jim, that was that. So, who are looking at? DJ Shiro, how do I snap to camera view when a boss attacks a character like in Dark Souls? Do you mean... Okay, so how would I snap to a camera view when a boss attacks a character like in Dark Souls? Right, so you mean like a fixed camera view? Okay, so you can tell the player to turn off their inputs for their camera controls and other all controls really whilst they're being attacked, and when the attack is over, you re-enable input. That's one way of doing it. And when you do disable the input, you can then get hold of the camera and change the focus of it or the rotation of it, location of it, whatever you want to do. You can do that at that moment in time. That would be the way I'd do it. Because you're not just snapping the camera, you're also stopping the player from doing any kind of movement. So you can disable their input if you like. That's one way of doing it. Either that, or you snap, or you tell it to go to blend to a different camera entirely, which is not attached to the player character, so it's not controlled at all. Okay. Abdudi, how would you make an area that only an NPC can go into? Ah, interesting. Let's have a look what we've got in our volumes here. So you want to block a player, but not NPCs. Okay. Blocking volume. Okay. So what you do, Abdudi, what you can do is you use a blocking volume like normal, but a blocking volume you'd change what object channel you want to use. So you make an object channel for NPCs, an object channel for players, and you just tell that this block can not can allow NPCs through. So for example, imagine okay, so I haven't got NPC set up, but what I can do is if I change this to custom, I can tell it to ignore. Well, actually, let's just play it so you can see it block me. So it's about there. So I stopped my movement. Okay. I'm just going to turn off the volume for Unreal. Oh. There you go. So now if I turn off, say, pawn and make that overlap or ignore, you just have another object channel here called NPC. So then when I play it, I can actually walk through it. Alright, see? So you can turn it off for the NPC in particular. And to assign an object channel, a custom one, in your project settings, just search for channel and you'll see object collision channels. And you'll see them there. You add a new one. And you type in like NPC. And you see NPC appears at the bottom here. So I can tell this blocking volume here to block a pawn, but allow NPCs. Like so. And on the NPC, if you want an NPC to be able to walk through it, so if I go to player here, I can change the player and their collision setup. So change the object type here, I can change it to NPC. So now it was a pawn, now an NPC, so now it should, well, it will do, but I've got other things on my character that will stop it. So I need to turn that off as well. NPC. We need to tell it to no, I think that's right. No, yes, the blocking volume. You should get the gist of it from that. Why is that not letting me through? I think it's because my mesh on my character. No collision. Yeah, see, I changed this. I got to change that to. There you go. No collision. No, that's probably something else on me that I have to turn off. But there, you should get the gist of it. That's basically what you got to do. Okay, next we have Kim North. Ryan, I have to handle multiple enemies attacking my character. Of course, if they all attack at once, the game stops becoming fun. Earlier, we spoke about a ticketing system. Can we expand on how to achieve this? Okay, so the ticketing system. There's a couple ways you could do it. I will be starting to do this series soon for my Patreon, so keep a lookout for that this month. But the ticketing system, you could do a simple game mode thing. So in your game mode here, you'd set up the ticketing system in here, and what it does, it will take a look at the what enemies are in combat and assign them to an array. And in here you'll have like a loop basically, and you can give the ticket. A ticket would be like an actor reference, so it's hard to do without an actual enemy here to do it. But we'll go ticket recipient. Okay, and that'll be an actor, or it'd be an enemy. I haven't got an enemy set up, and you'd assign that to, you like go set, so you grab one from your array that isn't the ticket recipient already, give that to this, and then tell it to attack or try to attack. That's the rough gist of it. I haven't worked out the kinks of it entirely, but that's generally what's going to happen. So you'll have a custom event in here which will determine when the ticket should be awarded. Then it'll get a for loop for all the enemies that are attacking, choose one at random, tell it to give a ticket, and away it goes. Now you could go expand this a lot further and give higher priority to different enemies based on the distance if you like. You can do all sorts of things if you want, but the most basic way of doing it is random. Just get a random enemy from that list, and it'll give it a ticket. That enemy will then initiate their attack, and when the attack is finished, then it will tell the game mode to do another ticket, and then away it goes. And that's roughly what it's going to do. If that makes sense, Kim. I say I'm going to do the series of that relatively soon. Alakram, sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. Sorry. I've got a difficult question. Working on networking on Steam, I ran into an issue. When I possess the player on client, the client has no input. I'm using possess in game mode when a player spawns in map. Right. Okay. So the easiest solution for that, Alakram, is to if I go into my player, rather than doing it on the game mode, telling it to tell it to possess the character, the easiest way of doing it is open up the actual character that's going to be possessed, and on the class default settings over here you'll see auto possess player, and you can tell it which player to possess. In this case, most of the time it would be player 0. Do it here and it automatically possess it. That's the best way of doing it. Try that, see how you get on with that. Bagsy, I think a tutorial of friendly AI that helps attack enemies would be great. Yeah, I've got it on my list to do with a load of AI stuff. The first AI series of this year will be melee, like using the ticketing system we just mentioned, so doing the melee attacking system with a third-person action game. Hi Chloe Culver. Well, just started binge watching my AI videos, and you're streaming. How cool. Just want to say thanks for the great tutorials. You're welcome, Clay. I'm glad you find them useful. Yep, we stream every weekend. So check out every weekend at this time. We're streaming different things. Chris Chaos. Chris Chaos, you started a while back on an AI companion but never really expanded on it. I was wondering how an AI attacks another AI based on the highest threat to the player and then a switch into the next highest target. So that links back to what Bagsy was asking. Yes, we will get round to doing a whole series on that. But to give you a general gist of what is going on there, it would be, again, you're getting a list of all the enemies that are currently attacking the player or targeting the player, and your AI companion will want to target either a random one from that list, or in your case, which you're asking for the highest threat to the player, and then going and attacking that one. Now, to work out highest threat, totally up to you, really, because a threat is based on algorithms and equations and things like that. But let's just say, for basics, the highest threat one would be the ones closest to the player. You need to work out and sort through your array based on their threat. Okay, so threat could be set up in a such as where you do a sort of sort. Pardon me. When you sort through the array, that's one way of doing it. Another way of doing it could be using a map system where you say the map has a list of all the enemies attacking, and then the key for that will be the value for that will be the threat level, which would be a float, and you just add to that float whenever you want to give them an extra threat. That way, when the AI wants to attack something, it will look for the highest threat on that list and just go and attack it. So we'll do that is on the to-do list. It'll probably be after the melee one. Probably the one after we do that. David Fator, hi Ryan. In the game I'm creating, the one I've been working on for the last 6 years. Wow. I finally switched from Unity to Unreal, thank goodness. In the Unity version, I have a very basic GPS feature that worked with triggers when I reach a certain area of my in-game city. The district changed and the location changed with it to represent where the character was at the time. Are you able to create a series around creating and implementing such a feature in Unreal? Okay, hang on. The district changed and the location changed with it to represent where the player was at that time. I'm trying to understand what you mean, David. The district changed. You know, a very basic GPS feature that worked with triggers with a certain area of my in-game city. The district changed and the location changed with it to represent where the character was at the time. Have you got an example from a game you that is out there that I can look up on video and I can have a better idea of what you're trying to achieve there? Yeah. I think I need more information, that's all. Sam, how do I reduce a game size? Okay, so that's a lot of stuff you could do. The number one thing you could look at is audio and textures. So starting with textures, you want to avoid any textures which are super high res. Where you can, try to put textures into different channels. So for example, your metal map, roughness map, and your metal roughness and opacity map, or emissive, whatever you do, whatever three you're doing, you can put them all together in RGB channels. So red channel have the metal map, green have the metal roughness map, and opacity belongs to the blue map, blue channel. So you can combine them like that. But the number one thing I see is a lot of people doing massive texture sizes for their games. Your game does not require 4K textures, flat out. Okay, the amount of people I see, mostly my students, who think 4K is the future and that everything should be 4K. Okay, but bear in mind, so some items in your game may be quite small and will never actually get any big on the screen. Why do those at 4K? You could do those at like 128 by 128 and really cut down the file size. So textures are a key thing to look at there. As I said, audio is the next one. Audio is just a pain in the bum when it comes to file sizes. Likewise with any embedded FMV video, that's also massive in file size. With FMV, you can change the file type and compress it a lot more. But I again would just look at the quality, the bit rate of the things you are recording and things and displaying. You don't need that super high detail quality most of the time. So think about where you can cut the quality. Whatever you're doing, you're looking at cutting quality. But generally, they're the largest things in file size. It's not so much models or animations. It's mostly textures. Okay, Albin Kiranen. I followed your Melee AI Melee AI tutorials, but the AI won't work in sub levels. Some of the change same with the changed NPC speed. Might be an easy fix. So Albin, I haven't tested it out, but make sure that your nav mesh is in your persistent level. Okay, that way it's loaded in the whole entire time. That's the one main thing I'd make sure you check. Okay, so check that out. Make sure the nav mesh is in the persistent level, not in the sub level. Ryan, I have to handle. This is from Kim North. Ryan, I have to handle multiple enemies attacking my character. Of course, if they're all attacked at once, the game stops becoming fun. Oh yeah, we've done that. We went through that. So I will get through. I'm scrolling back through. I'm delayed. Sorry, I will get to your one in a second. So Sam, best way to create a multiplayer game for a mobile platform in UE4. Oh my god. That's a long. That's a large question to ask. You're gonna have to be a bit more specific. But a good way to go is looking at the Amazon Web Services, the AWS. Check those out. Check out documentation. See what they offer. They're the best and kind of general solution that most people use. So check those out. But for multiplayer for mobile, you will need to be using dedicated servers. You cannot do peer-to-peer. Adam Ski, will you keep this live stream up to rewatch? Some useful points here. Adam, the archive for this particular live stream will be available to all my patrons immediately straight away, but for everyone else it'll be 2 weeks later. So check it out in 2 weeks time, it'll be there. If not, join Patreon for $1. You can watch it straight after too. Kim is asking, Ryan, in the Arkham series, Batman can attack one character and once killed, Batman swiftly moves to the next character without you having to walk towards him and her. How would you do this at Unreal? I would have to do some research into how Rocksteady did this. They have a really complex animation system. I would have to have a look at how they try and figure out how they did it. I would have to do my research on that one. Trying to think. Nope. I have to. I'll have to have a look and see if I can find information. I'm looking at the best way to do some research and stuff. By the way, is look at GDC. GDC talks are great, and they have loads of information there. That's how I learn a lot of stuff. So check out GDC talks. Thanks for being a gold patron, Bagsy. Thank you. No worries, David. Yeah, check it. Just send me a message with loads more stuff. Maybe it'd be useful. Lewis GV. Just give me an example, explanation, sorry, on how you would go about creating citron from PVZ2, walking the turns into a rollerball style. Oh yeah, a cool one. So if you don't know who citron is a like an orange that can walk around, and then you push a button, it turns into a ball, and you can roll around, much like Hammond from Overwatch. So how do you do that? I'm just eating some chocolate. Mm. Hmm. So, the way I'm thinking, sorry if this sounds disgusting, it's just chocolate, I swear. Um, so, to do that, I would have to test this out, because I haven't done it before, is on your player character, you would have, you have like movement input, relying on a character movement component here. Well, when you turn to a ball, you play the animation to play and turn to a ball. I would switch from using the character movement component to move around. So rather than doing add movement input, rather than using this, we use physics instead. No, apply physics. 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 And you can set some velocity and using a physics engine to handle the movement of the ball. That would need some tweaking. I haven't done it before. I would have to have a play. That's a fun one. I would have a look at how you could do that. But essentially, you'd have like a flag, like a boolean in here saying whether you're a ball or not. When you push forward, rather than doing add movement input, you do if it's not in a ball, do this. If it is in a ball, do apply physics. That'd be the best one, I think. Who's next? Zimmy Jim. How to make the FPS arms match my Cinti pedestrians' arms after spawning? Right now, they're the red UE4 mannequin arms. Am I going to have to cut the arms off 40 people? Yes, I think. Trying to think if there's a workaround. Yeah, you may have to, because you need the model of the arms separate. So you're gonna have to remove the rest of the mesh apart from the arms. You can keep the rest of them. Just keep the arm mesh. You can delete other faces, for example. I think that'd be it. Yeah, I think you have to do that. Sorry, Zim. Games are hard and long to make. Kim North, which next gen console will I be buying? PS5 or Xbox? I will be buying an Xbox. Only because I'm already in that ecosystem. I've got about 500 games on my Xbox installation availability, so I'm gonna keep using it for that. But it'll be an Xbox. Michael Ciao. What can I do when cooking a game? Oh, what was it? Nothing. What can I do when cooking a game? UE4 says error unknown cook failed. Error unknown cook failed. First of all, Michael, you want to go into your output dialog window. So go into Windows, Developer Tools, and you want the output log. And the output log in here is all the details about the cooking of your game. And in there, you want to search for a red or yellow line, and that will tell you roughly what the issue is. There could be numerous things why it would fail, but you want to check the red lines and try and see if you can decipher it from that. I want to do a video on packaging games some point, but it's a weird one to do because it's one of those things where it goes wrong. It could be so many different things that go wrong. So it's kind of hard to kind of fake and show off all the different permutations where it could go wrong. It's literally going to be like a case by case sort of thing. Next, I got Biodistus. With hi Ryan, having trouble with delays on a sequence node. I currently have 5 macros, each with a delay inside. They all fire off at once, desired, but as a result, they don't finish properly. Except the last. Right. So, first of all, I would question why you have so many delays happening, and why do you have them all attached to a sequence. I would like to know that information first, because it sounds like you're doing it about the wrong way. So you're saying they all fire off at once, which is what you want, but as a result, they don't finish properly except the last. Now, the main problem with that is that the delay is synced to the tick rate, I think. So if the tick is delayed by anything, then like lag, for example, then that's going to slow down the delay. I think that's how it works. But I would question why you've got like it set up like that. What are you trying to achieve? Yeah, that's the way I would do it. Also, Badistas, is there a way to cancel out of a delay based on another event happening in the time frame of a delay? Not you can't cancel out of a delay. You can re-trigger one, but you can't cancel out of it. So your delay is that's what this little clock means, by the way. So that means that it's synced to the game time, the tick time. I think that's what that little clock means. That's why you can't have it in functions, by the way. But yeah, you can't cancel the delay. If you want to cancel a timer of some kind, you need to use a timer. So set timer, and then store the result of it. So set timer by function name. Then you get the return value, promote it to a variable, and then you can use that variable when you want to cancel it, and clear and invalidate it, and that basically turns the timer off. Okay, so timers sounds like it'd be more useful for what you're trying to achieve. Other than that, the only way to stop a delay is to destroy the actor that the delay is on. Albin. Okay, so your nav mesh is in the persistent level. The AI can chase a player but won't patrol. It just goes towards the first patrol point and then stands there till it sees a player, then then gets back to standing. Okay, so it sounds like something wrong with your patrol points. Again, there could be numerous issues of why this could be the case. So common issues I know about are make sure the patrol points are inside the nav mesh and are reachable. If they're not reachable, he won't be able to get to them. So that's the number one thing to check. Even if like they are in a nav mesh, it may be if they're up on their platform. If there's no way to get to that platform, then again it won't be able to see how to get to it, and therefore will cancel out and just stand there. That's the first thing and main thing to check. Other than that, you want to double check your code, make sure the code's obviously working. Use print strings, try and debug where it's going wrong, try and figure out where it's failing. They say it could be numerous things, so check it out. If you know where it's failing, that's a good place to start. But first of all, I'll double check, make sure all the patrol points are inside the nav mesh and are reachable. Kim North is asking, Ryan, we briefly went over things like trees, grass, and leaves blowing in the wind. Can you describe in more detail how to achieve this? Okay, yeah, no problem. Let's start the content in here. Yeah. There's the bush. Okay, so here's the bush. Okay, that comes with the starter content. So to make it blow in the wind, you can open up your material, and you'll be using everything called world position offset. Okay, this changes the position of the vertices being rendered. So you want to use this. So to achieve a simple wind effect, there's already a function in it called simple grass wind. And what we want to do with this is give this an intensity. It's a scalar, that's what the S stands for. weight, and additional WPO, which is any other world position offsets you're doing to it. So we'll just give that some values. I can't remember if these have to be high or low values. Let's just chuck in something to test. Give that 5. Why not? Let's see how that looks in the preview. Oh, I've got to actually plug it in first. Ooh, there you go. A bit too extreme, so it needs to be a lot lower. Let's do 1. 1. Yeah. So there's that simple sort of random wave happening. And you can see it now being applied to this thing. Yeah. Obviously a bit extreme, you don't need to be that light. And ideally you'd have the vertex painting on it too. So if we go vertex paint and can we do it in here? Paint color. It's hard to see, so let's go into here and get the vertex color. Multiply that with this. And therefore, only the white bits will actually move, not the rest of it. This is a bit hard to do because it's such a strange shape. You can see where parts of it are moving, parts aren't. So if I want it to move, I paint bits white. I want to make it not move, just paint them black. Cool. That's essentially what you do. All in all games, how do you go about setting up abilities? Good question. You can go onto my Patreon and find out. As you can, if you're a gold patron, you can download my ability system series project files. Or if you're a normal patron, you've got access to, I think, 4 episodes, maybe 5. 4 or 5 episodes currently into the new ability system series early, way before anyone else. So if you want to check out my Patreon. Alright, so DJ Show, what I was asking was like when the boss leaps in the air, the camera focuses on the boss before it attacks. Oh, right. That could be an animation sequence using the sequencer. Using this sequencer. Do that and tell the camera to do all these fancy movements and focuses and things like that. Probably the way to do that is do a sequencer that you can call up time and time again. Restart it when you want to do a duplicate, not duplicate, replay of it. Yeah. Got him. Just eating. Okay. Higher kill for lols. Abduli, could I explain level streaming? Yeah, sure. So level streaming is you have something called a persistent level, and then you have sub levels. The whole point of level streaming is so that you don't have to load up everything at once. So it's used heavily in games because it can be quite expensive to load up all the stuff inside the level at one time. So we often hide bits in sub levels, which are then streamed in in a transition location. So this transition location is often seen in games as a corridor, an elevator, any sort of like passage where you can't see the room you was just in, and you can't see the room you're about to go in. So it's like a transition period. Seen in a lot of games. So take a look out and you'll see it. So in a persistent level, you'd want everything to do with collision. So everything that is collision or navigation based, you want ideally all of that in your persistent level. And the persistent level basically means that's the bit that's going to be loaded up the whole entire time. So that's why I usually put collision stuff on it, because if that doesn't load up in time, if the player goes too quickly, you don't want them falling through the world. Yeah. So you want to make sure that's loaded up first before anything else. Secondly, in the sub levels, you want to make sure that's where all your enemies are spawning in, and that's where you activate their AI. This is how, if you ever look at games and get outside the map, you'll notice you can walk around the map and you find it's all empty. There's no enemies in it, no action, no triggers, anything like that. That's because they haven't been told to be streamed in. And level streaming occurs when you walk into a certain trigger, and that trigger will turn on the next stream. Video on it will be coming, because it is a common thing that people need to do. So I will show how to do it. Chris, well, I have a question, and no one can tell me how to make a weapon system for a third-person game: rifle, shotgun, pistol, and animations. Okay, so you want to know how to make a weapon system for a third-person game with shotguns, pistols, animations, and so forth. What kind of weapons do you want to? What do you mean by weapon system? What do you want the weapon system to achieve? What do you want it to do? If you want just to shoot and animate and reload and things like that, that's pretty straightforward. There's not much to it. I have one of my first live streams I did was actually setting up all that stuff. So you can go back into my videos and you can look up the video archive for that. So check that out. If you can, it was a 2-parter. We've done 2 streams on it, so check that out. It will tell you how to set it all up with the animations, and I think it'll give you the animations as well, so you can definitely check that out. But if you got anything specific you want to ask, then yeah, just ask away. So kills for lols. Can you? Yeah. So as others were saying, don't keep spamming loads of lines. It's hard for me to keep track of what's going on. So if you have a question, just try and put it all into one message if you can, because it's harder to read the question. So your question is. It gets bugged. Your sprinting gets bugged. That's not really a question. I can try and show you a series of how to do shifting. I can try and do it now. My character here. So if I want to add a sprint to him, let's go into here. Make a very simple sprint. Let's delete all this crap that was from previous stuff. What's this? We don't need that. Bear with it. Hold on, Unreal's having a think about what's it want to do. Whilst I'm waiting for Unreal, let's have a look at what else we've got going on here. David, regarding cooking and output log, I have a few warnings based on models I imported but never placed into the game world. In the output log, when I package the game, it says they can't be found as I deleted them because I changed my mind early on. Is there a way to reset memory references with having to start fresh? You must have something still referencing them somewhere. It's the only way, because if you delete them from your Content Explorer and they're not used anywhere else, then it's not going to give you an error. So you must have something that may have a simple error. They're trying to reference it in some shape or form. It's the only thing I can think of. But if they're warnings and not errors, then it doesn't really matter. It's just package. Kim North. Previously, we discussed that Unreal doesn't support nav mesh for flying objects. Is there an easy workaround for this? An easy one? No. No, not an easy one. You have to kind of make up your own one. I will get into that series eventually of how to do that. How can you spawn? This is Stella Dweller. How can you spawn an actor at a certain point in FPV camera view on an event like spawning an enemy on your right or left, depending on world position? So if you want an enemy spawned on your left or on your right, you can get the camera and then you want to get the right direction. Right vector. The right vector is the direction that's to your right. So if you want to get a location to your right, use that and then multiply it by how far away you want it to spawn. So if you want to spawn 100 units away, you want to times the right vector by 100. If you want to put it on the left, then you want to times it by minus 100. And that'll give you that location on the left and right of the player's camera view. I would show you, but Unreal's having a little hissy fit at the moment. It's not letting me do anything. May have to restart Unreal. We'll see. Okay, we'll carry on. Thanks, Bardistus. So he's trying to display a text in a speech bubble with a bunch of characters, hence the question sequence. Each macro does the logic to display the subtitle, which is never removed for some characters. Okay. Right. Interesting. Okay. I get what you're trying to do now. Why are we afraid of doing that? I'll have to come back to that, Bardistus. I think it would be some combination of my advanced dialogue series with a few extra tweaks, so you can keep some things on the screen at once. But as I said, I'll have to get back to you on that. I'm gonna have to restart Unreal, I think. Okay, let's restart Unreal. Back into here. Okay. Zimmy Jim, I added Sun or Sky to my map with the 424 update. Now I don't have any clouds. Any idea where they went? I haven't actually played with that stuff yet. Let's have a look. I've not looked at it at all. So did they change? I heard they changed something with the Sky thing. Let's try Sky. It was this thing, was it? And we'll get rid of the Sky Sphere. Okay, so I've never looked at this yet. So let's have a look. Let's check this out. So I've got okay, so I've got ground radius. Oh, okay, that's quite cool. Okay, interesting. We can change the color of it. Don't have to. Atmosphere height. Okay, so that's not doing. Okay, right. Don't know. I'll have to have a look and see what kind of things it can do. I mean, can we make a child of this? No. Okay. Yeah, it does that. Don't know. I'll have to have a look around and see what it does. I've never looked at it until today, until just now. So I'll let you know on that one. João Paulo, how can I use a timeline to update the life bar? The timeline? What timeline? What, the sequence of timeline? Is that what you mean? Let us know what you mean, João Paulo. Kim North, isn't this manipulation of materials to make it look as though it's blowing in the wind expensive in terms of resources? So using the simple grass wind modifier and any kind of vertex shader manipulation is very cheap. If you're going to do anything basic animation wise, it doesn't rely on collision. Use the world position offset. It's a lot cheaper than moving actual vertices with an actual object. So definitely do that. Alec Ram, just forgot to add atmospheric fog. As in this bit. Atmospheric fog, never done cloud stuff before. So have they change it? Yeah, no, I don't think they've changed what the atmospheric fog does. Unless you mean on the actual thing. You know. Sky atmosphere. Again, I'll have to have a look another time, but I'm not trying to rush it all before the thing. Chris, Ryan, if I become a gold Patreon, would you help me set up a weapon system? Unfortunately, I can't afford the time to do a one-to-one like that. I'm happy to help out with basic tuition every now and then. So, for example, my top tier patrons get like an hour or two with myself each week, where I will each month, sorry, to discuss their projects. I'm happy to do that, but that is unfortunately reserved for the top tiers of Patreon. So that is that. But I say check out those archived live streams first, and check them out first and see what they do. DJ Shiro, I'm part of Patreon. Oh yes, you are. Yes, thank you. I remember seeing your name coming up. So thank you very much for your support. Albin, yeah, patrol points, Trimat and Persistent. Yeah, let's check them out. Adam Ski, quick question. Quite new to level streaming, but can you use level streaming in a level already built? To optimize it better. You could, but you'll find yourself doing a lot of cutting and pasting back into another level. That would be the only thing you have to do, unfortunately. Tailored Art 01. By the way, we'll be wrapping up shortly, guys. So get in your last questions now. We'll be wrapping up in a second. Toad Art 01, can you do some videos on the advanced locomotion system? It's only $5 now. I can do. I've got it. What kind of things would you like to see in it, though? That's the thing I want to know, is what people actually want from it. Because it works quite nicely out of the box. So I don't know what you want to try and do with it. Let us know. Um, okay, so Chris, will a shooter guns tutorial work for what you want to do? In part, yes. So I'll go through how to make a gun shoot and reload and all that stuff, and how to switch weapons. All that stuff is on there. The only things I haven't gone through, I haven't done a shotgun yet, but I plan to. And the only thing haven't done is some of the animation stuff. So I want to try and do something different with that. I don't know what yet. But that's on there. If you want to see animation stuff, check out the live stream archive of me setting up the shooter AI stuff. But yeah, check it out. Sam VFX. In my opinion, at what point do I believe gameplay features should be implemented in BP or C++? If something is going to be drastically improved by me putting it in C++, I'd do it in C++. If it is going to be marginally, like, it depends on what you're making, really. If you're making something that's going to be really stressful for the machine that's going to be playing it, C++ is going to give you an edge. Okay, but by and large, most of the time you can get away with BP. So I would do most of it probably in BP, or pretty much all of it first of all with BP, and then go back and think, okay, where can I optimize? Where can I add stuff? So sometimes you may find yourself doing a really complex blueprint to get around some shortcomings in it. That's when I would try and go into C++ and make my own shortcut rather than doing a long-winded blueprint for it. Kamui, when will you go over flying AI? It would be after the Melee AI. So Melee AI is the first, and that would be starting this month for my patrons, and then flying AI would be one after that. It would be either flying AI or the help assisted AI, one of the two. We'll see what the people want more. Kim North, I would like a big moon in my game. Is it just a still image in the sky? Basically, yeah. It's just part of the skybox. Most of the time, anyway. Poopy Doop. Sorry, hey bro, how can I replicate change of a character texture? Do you mean replicate in the sense of multiplayer replication? Is that what you mean? Let us know. Kiwi Hawk, I've been watching a lot of your videos. Any chance of adding to your transfer series how to instance from outdoor, entering a house that's in another level? Yeah, it's basically the same as the transfer between different levels. You just transfer to an indoor scene from an outdoor scene. Unless you mean like streaming in, you could do a streaming, like use level streaming to accomplish that as well. If you want to do one without a cut into another level, another load screen. So for VFX, do you reckon blueprints can be used for deep play gameplay features rather than C++? Yeah, I reckon you could do pretty much anything in blueprints. Yeah, so Kiwi Hawk, yeah, so like Skyrim's houses, so that is literally what that video I've done where you go into different levels, opening different levels. It's exactly that. It's just, you just make an indoor scene compared to an outdoor scene. We just put a roof on it. No different. Mm. Ryan, I'm trying to get the enemy to notice VR porn, but it will never will. Got any ideas? You should still see it. Don't know. Strawberry Nuggets. Good name, by the way. Don't know. It's something I'll have to play test and have a look. It's not something I think off the top of my head, unfortunately. But no immediate ideas come to mind. Um, um, so, Albin, if I really need patrol points and sub levels, how do I go about that? It's because I use sub levels as procedural tiles for the world. Anyways, thanks for Ryan. You use sub levels as procedural tiles for the world. Are you doing a general a procedural map then? Is that what you're doing, Albin? Um, like it goes on forever. It just regenerates new parts to it. Poopy doop. How can I replicate character changing skin? Currently, one seems to change the other. I think the problem is something to do with the player character index. I'm still 100% sure what you mean, Poopy doop. If you want to change the player's skin, you have to get the instance of the player that you want to change the skin of. So you want to change it on the world here rather than in the actor here. So, for example, in here, I can change this one's material to something else. Like I've changed its skin, basically. You could change it in the world here. But if I opened it up as an actor, then I wouldn't be able to do that. It would change it all. Because these are instances. Is that I think that's what you mean. I'm not 100% sure. Oh, in multiplayer. So in multiplayer, yeah, you need to replicate that. Oh. You want to make a replicated function. I would imagine. Again, I'm going by guessing because I have not done it before. So you want to with your new function which changes the skin of the mesh, for example. So I'll get the mesh, blah, change set material, whatever it may be, blah blah blah. You want to replicate this over here. Yeah, as far as I'm aware, that's all you have to do. It's just do that, multicast it to all of them, and it'll do that. I don't know. I would have to test it. But that's what I would imagine straight away. So Kiwi Hawk, can we use volumes to cold the interior so there'd be one level? Use level streaming for that probably. Tailored art, how to retarget animations to the advanced locomotion system. Okay. And add replication. It should have replication. Okay, I'll look into it. Tailored art and look and try and get something out for people. That's great, David. Yeah, just send it any details you can. That'd be more. The more information I have, the better. Thanks for your support, Zimijin. Swift away. Do you know how to use a weapon component on another project with different player character than default? What do you mean? What do you know how to use a weapon component? What weapon component? One you made? You want to export one you made? You just copy over the content from the contents folder into the new one. That's all you should be able to do. Ryan, can you brush over real quick how you'd approach a Star Citizen world through UE? No idea. Again, something else I have to look at and research, and find and figure out. Again, GDC a good resource for that. It may be in there. I don't know, but I want to check that out. Poopy Doop, you tried that, but you're changing all the players. Changing all of them. I don't know. I'll have to have a look. You have to replicate on both server and client, or else the server won't see the change if it's not a dedicated server. It still won't solve. Yeah, I guess you could. Yeah. I'll have to have a look. I have to do a lot more on multiplayer stuff, online multiplayer stuff. Anyway, that's it. That's brought us to the end of our question time. Thank you very much for everyone. I'm going to try and put the questions that were asked into the description below the video before it's released to the public in 2 weeks' time. But this archive will be available to everyone on Patreon. So if you want to support me, head over to patreon.com/Ryan Daly. New videos out on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. So check those out. On Monday, we've got the new episode for the making your first game. On Wednesday, you're going to see a new series come out publicly. You just finished off the swimming series, so we're going to start a new one talking about how to make menus work with gamepads and do things like that. So check those out. And on the Friday, we just finished off the keypad with the doors, so you're going to see a new one for there for the item inspection series as well. So all new stuff coming out next week. It's going to be super exciting, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys think. Meanwhile, patrons will have access to more episodes to our ability system series, plus a few one-offs, and hopefully, if you get time to, the start of the new AI series as well. So that'll do for me tonight. So thank you very much for all your questions. If I did not get around to answering your questions or did not give you the answer that you're looking for, apologies. We'll get round to it eventually at some point. That'll do us for tonight. So thank you very much for tuning in, and that's it for me, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.